Hello, welcome to the Tutors of Life podcast, where we research life so you don't have to. This is your host, Shaun Tutor.
And this is Sam. And this is a Tutor episode where we try to teach you something new.
Sweet.
I got it that time.
Good job.
We're going to do a quick little update from our previous episode 177 on from our current event podcast. And then we're gonna go a little hippie on all of you.
Absolutely. Sweet. Here we go. So, last week we talked about just some of the updates in the market and things like that. CPI inflation report and all that good stuff. If you haven't checked that one out, check out 2 episodes ago, the last Sundays. All right, so.
Last Mondays,
fuck. So, we had the Federal Reserve, the FOMC report come out, and Jerome Powell announced another 0.25% increase. So the Fed interest rate is now at 5%. It went from 4.75%. Now it's at 5%. So pretty much that's not great. We expected, like, the Fed stated it was going to raise by 0.25%. It was expected it was going to raise by 0.25%. So they raised it by 0.25%, and the stock market and people were like, oh my God, we can't believe you just did this. The reason being, with the banks collapsing, people thought the Federal Reserve would pump the brakes and not do a interest rate increase. But what they did by having that increase is show that they're not going to be like bought and paid for. They're not going to be scared into stopping their plan, the plan to stop inflation or, to slow down inflation. And so it's a good thing they did do that to show that they're not like that this agenda is serious.
Right, yeah.
That getting inflation to slow down is serious. If we wouldn't be in this situation at all, if the government just didn't print money.
Yeah, that would make a lot of sense.
That would have been great.
Yep.
But they wanted to print money. And so now we're dealing with this dumb shit. Now we're dealing with unemployment rate is starting to go up. That was supposed to happen. So unemployment rate's starting to go up. The unemployment rate's expected to hit 4% this year. If unemployment hits 4%, that's 2 million people that will be jobless. So that's what they're going for right now.
Which is not surprising. Like, no one should be surprised by this. Prices of goods have gone up. Wages have gone up astronomically. So obviously companies are going to have to cut somewhere. They're going to have to cut costs. And cutting employees is honestly an easier way to cut costs than trying to, like, find cheaper goods or stuff like that.
Also, employees tend to be the most expensive cost.
Yeah.
So if you just cut an employee or two, how much more does it open you up in your budget? Especially if you have 2 employees who aren't performing at that high of a level, and that another 2 employees could pick up their slack, and you could just bump them up a little bit on a raise. How much money is the company saving?
Right.
A shit ton.
Yeah.
And so, if you look at that, that's kind of where we're at. They did state that they're going to do one more interest rate rise this year. They're going to do another 0.25% increase, which will put the federal interest rate at 5.25%. That's supposed to happen in May. And that's after we hear the quarterly report from March on inflation. So pretty much if it's 5.7% or lower on inflation, we're going to be okay. Things are going to start going up. If it's 5.8, I think that's level with what it was before. If we're at 5.9 or 6% or higher, it's expected to
be pretty bad.
That'd be bad because it would be a depression. Because it'd be consecutive quarters. negative, so move the recession to a depression. So that could be pretty bad.
Yeah.
At least I'm pretty sure that's how that works. But yeah, so essentially 5.7% or less, and we're going to be in good shape. 5.9% or more, we'll be in bad shape. 5.8 is what it is. So we'll look forward to that quarterly. That happens in April. We'll see the quarterly report for Q1 and see
where we're at.
Cool. But we'll be at 5.25% in theory, Fed interest rate through the rest of the year. They state they're not going to do another rise. However, the population, the people, what the expectations are that by July, we're going to have a major bounce back, even though the Fed isn't saying this. The people just think this is going to happen. I don't know why. That we're going to be, the majority of them think we're either going to be at a 4.75 or a 4.5% federal interest rate. And even though the Fed says we'll be at 5.25. So I don't really know how that's going to play out for us. I'm imagining not very fucking good, because if people think it's going to be that low and it's not, then they're going to freak out.
Yeah. Also the fact of so they're doing this so people stop spending, but people being hopeful like that is going to just keep convincing them to keep spending.
Correct.
So, I don't know. That's just kind of weird. It's all around weird.
Yes.
Well, cool. That's fun. Do you got more on that, or is that what you got for today?
One sec.
Either way, I don't know. I don't think we're in a bad spot right now. Obviously,
So actually, I think we need to go 2 more quarters before we hit a depression.
Oh, okay, cool.
So if we're down this one, and then we'll need to have 1 more quarter.
Okay.
Yeah. So it won't be good, but we're a full quarter away from a depression.
Right.
I think. Unless this one goes up, then we're good. So yeah.
Fun. Now, is that what you got?
That's what I got. That's what I got, babe.
That's cool. That's fun. Okay, we're gonna go full hippie. Maybe not full hippie. Shaun and I have been, we told you guys we switched Mimi to a whole food diet.
Mm-hmm.
Not a raw food diet, whole food diet.
Mm-hmm.
So all of her meat is cooked and all of her food is cooked pretty much.
Right.
And that's been going really, really, really well for Mimi.
Mm-hmm.
And we've been just kind of thinking about, once we started researching that, then on both of our Instagram accounts, we've been getting these natural household cleaners or whatever on our feeds.
I will say, once we looked at whole food diet online for Mimi,
mm-hmm.
and then on Instagram, I'm not, maybe Instagram read that, it started suggesting us based on that.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, we started getting a bunch of homesteading shit on our
feeds.
Instagram.
Yeah.
On our feeds, yeah.
So Shaun and I have just been kind of curious about it, because we both, Shaun has acne issues, I have psoriasis issues. So we were kind of just wondering what things we could do ourselves to improve our personal health and see if it fixes some of those things. And plus we were just looking at other things. Mimi's had allergies now for 2 years. 2 years.
Mm-hmm.
And so we want to also, she shouldn't be having allergies in the wintertime. So obviously there's something around that.
There's something in the house.
Yeah, something in the house that is affecting her. So that's why in other things we were trying to play with our laundry detergent, maybe not really household cleaners. We honestly don't use them that often. Mm. And it's not I don't have air oil diffusers going at all times. We burn candles every once in a while. Mm-hmm. Not enough that it would be that would be affecting her. And not just switching her diet didn't completely help her allergies either, because there was definitely
But it helped a little bit.
It helped, yeah. Instead of having to give her pill once a day, we could go down to every other day. Even every 2 days.
Every 2 days.
Yeah. I think the laundry detergent is the kicker for her, though. I think that's helped quite a bit.
Could be.
So yeah, it's just been very interesting for us to kind of research and look into it and really start thinking about what we are putting not only in our bodies but on our bodies. We're very not strict in what we put in our bodies, but we're very conscious of what we put in our bodies.
Like a lot of Covisa.
A lot of Covisa, yes. Covisa is a local pizza shop that is in the same building as my workplace. And it has such good pizza.
Banging brick oven pizza.
Yeah.
So freaking good.
But they're only open Wednesday through Friday, so obviously they have fresh ingredients.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's like real food.
Yeah.
That's not. Yeah, but yeah, I'm gonna cut back to only 1 day a week there.
Yeah, you've been at Tutor lately.
I know. It's so fucking good.
So yeah, it's been interesting for us to really start thinking about other parts of our lives, of how they can be affecting our bodies. And before this, Shaun and I were talking about what we wanted to tutor about. And it's interesting to think a lot of the things we have are only 50, 70 years old. So, like, computers, technology are very new. So how do we know how those are going to affect our bodies? Mm-hmm. All of these, like...
Vaccines,
all vaccines, really.
Most vaccines started coming out after, polio? And that was, like, early 1900s?
Polio or smallpox?
One of the two. But that shit's only 100 years old.
Yeah.
It ain't very long.
Those, and just a lot of the stuff we use, like... clothing, it used to be all cotton and linen. Mm-hmm. Now they put like spandex and polyester and whatever in there. And so it's been interesting to really dive deep into this idea of like you're going to be healthier and the chances of getting these cancers and whatever are lower if you're homesteading.
Right. In theory, it is.
In theory, yes.
I feel like some people are like genetic gods, though.
Oh yeah, for sure.
And it's like the people who could smoke and drink until they're 100 years old. Mm-hmm. You know, there's just like a select few people who can handle that. Their bodies handle that.
Oh yeah. So yeah, we'll just kind of, let's just run through some of the things that we've like learned and what we've done. So we've obviously talked about food. Processed foods are a very new thing. Oh, the big thing about all of this is we've done all this, like making these things for convenience. So instant gratification.
I would say a lot of this is done for convenience. Mm-hmm. I think a lot of it's done on purpose for like making it cheaper, bigger profit margins, making people fatter, making them more dependent on shit. That's like fucking...
I don't know about cheaper though. The laundry detergent we made is way cheaper than buying laundry detergent.
Cheaper for places to make and charge us.
Oh, okay, yeah. To make money off of us. Mm-hmm. Yeah, got it.
But that's like what I said to you about like today that I realized for the first time ever, to keep us like engaged or to keep us like dumb. 10 years ago, before Netflix, you would have a couple TV shows you'd watch. Mm-hmm. There's one episode that came out a week. You'd have to be there to watch it at that time. Mm-hmm. You'd watch it, and then you wouldn't see the next one for another week.
Yeah.
So you couldn't binge watch TV.
No.
You couldn't binge watch TV series. You could binge watch TV if you wanted. But, like...
most of the time, if it wasn't a show you liked, you would stop watching.
Right, and that was, like, the big thing. I remember we'd get home, and there'd be, like, one or two TV... and it wasn't even every night. There was, like... I think it was, like, 2 or 3 nights a week. There was, like, one TV show we wanted to watch. Maybe... Sometimes there was 2. And I think in total there was, like... There was never more than 4. But usually I think it was, like, 3 TV shows we watched a week. And we would just watch those for 30 minutes to 1 hour, depending on what it was. And that's it. Like, that was our TV we'd watch. Maybe we'd have the TV on in the background when we were, like, fucking off, cooking,
right,
hanging out, whatever. But we didn't we didn't have the convenience or the thing where we just watch TV show after TV show after TV show, episode after episode after episode, binging, doing nothing with our time but binging.
Right. Also, like, I was just thinking about it. I think if I remember right, The Office came out on Tuesdays and Parenthood came out on Thursdays. So there's also, we're missing that social aspect now. Because a lot of the shows that I watched, like, I watched only in high school, and I remember, like, I'm pretty sure it was Wednesdays, me and a couple of my friends, we'd, like, meet up, and we'd be like, oh, did you watch the latest Office episode yesterday? And we'd talk about it, and then, like, Parenthood was another big one Marie and I were into, so we'd talk about it on Fridays. But yeah, like, because now, there are some shows still like that, like Bachelor and whatever. But now it's so hard to talk about a TV show when you're binging it. Because, right, like, you don't know where someone else is in the series, and then you also forget, like, the order of things. Like,
right.
It's so much harder when you're not watching an episode every single week.
Right. Well, and also, yeah, so there's that. There's also, I remember my dad and I used to watch Supernatural on Thursdays, I think, together. And so, like, every Thursday, my dad and I would spend the evening together because we'd have dinner and watch Supernatural. And then we would be like, holy shit, dude, can you believe that just fucking happened? You know, or whatever. But you don't get that now either.
No.
Right? Like, sit down, have dinner, watch a TV show, and then
do your homework when you're done.
Homework, whatever, yep. Now it's like, that is such by the wayside. None of that's in existence. It's that instant gratification, just like you said, and how, like, everything needs to happen now. They aren't even releasing one episode at a time in most cases anymore. It's just boom, here's a season.
Yeah.
Feel free, binge it. Here's a season. And it's out of your mind. Like, how long did Tiger King last? It was at the forefront of everybody's fucking life for like 6 weeks. And then it was gone, and we haven't even talked about it since. Dude, Supernatural was on TV for 15 years.
Yeah.
So you had 15 years worth of something that you talked about.
Yeah.
Now it's just like, boom. Oh, did you see OBX came out? Yeah, yep, it was awesome, but can you believe that? No. And then it's over. You don't talk about it again until the next year. Ridiculous.
It's also, I feel like these, because they can release just streaming whenever, they take their sweet ass time producing these shows now.
Oh, yeah, they do.
Because and that was another thing we talked about. Like, it was literally these TV shows would air for 6 months, and then they'd have 6 months off. And then they'd air for 6 months, 6 months off. So, like, those production teams, like, had to be on the ball to get those episodes out on time. Had to be. Well, and I think even, did Game of Thrones still release like that, episode by episode?
I don't know that answer.
I feel like it did, because
I think so.
That's how the Starbucks cup got missed. Because there's an episode where there's a Starbucks cup in it, and everyone, like, laughed and made fun of it. And then they fixed it pretty quickly after the episode
That makes sense.
aired. But yeah, so it's thinking about, like, that part of the whole.
Bro, could you imagine filming Game of Thrones? You're in your whole fucking, like, war attire, and then, like, in between scenes, you're drinking your Starbucks.
Right?
What a way to throw you out of character.
100%. We did a, what was it? It was either Beowulf or Macbeth. We did, like, a feast in my AP Lit class, and we literally got a whole bunch of, like, chicken, like, wings.
Right.
Oh my gosh, what did we get? We got chicken wings.
Probably drummies.
Yeah, drummies. And then I think we got, like, mashed potatoes and something else. And then someone made, like, something as close as possible to mead without it being alcoholic. Obviously, we're in high school. It was a lot of fun. Right. But, like, we couldn't use napkins or nothing.
Oh, that's so savage.
It was funny. But anyways, that's besides the point. So yeah, we got to think about the instant gratification that a lot of things give us now. And now, since it's been so long since people use these natural ingredients and stuff, like Shaun and I are having to learn how to make these things and like what is natural and what's not natural. Like
Right.
there's so many things that were passed down for centuries and centuries that all of a sudden we're just like poof, gone.
Yeah, so we talked. So we're probably the second generation that the majority of people didn't know how to hunt, kill, process their own food, have a garden, can, preserve, all that, right? We're like probably the second generation that shit wasn't common for. Because, like, if you look at our grandparents, they know how to do all that shit.
Oh, yeah.
They grew up doing all that shit. And so, you look at 70 years ago, 80 years ago, dude, some of them didn't even have running water growing up. You know? They had a well that they had to go pump the water.
Mm-hmm.
They didn't have electricity. I remember my grandpa said he didn't have electricity growing up for part of his life. And, like, you have an outhouse, don't have electricity, you don't have fucking running water, you got a well, so you have to pour yourself a bath or heat up the water on the wood stove, you know?
Yeah.
So it's like, but they farmed, garden, hunt, kill, fucking, I mean, they still had jobs, they went to work, whatever, but they also had all of that shit, right? They, like, had all those chores to do, had all those things that they did, which I said this to people, and I believe this. I think, because right now the age, the life expectancy is 77 for men, 79 for women. I think it's going to go down.
Oh, it's going to go down drastically.
Drastically, yep. Big time. Because our grandparents are that age. Like, look how many people we see dying in, like, their 50s.
Yeah. Right now, yeah.
Dude, I'm like, 50? And it's from, like, heart attacks. It's from, like, diabetes. It's from fucking, like, disease.
Random cancers and shit.
Yeah, cancer's big time. But it's like, how many of these motherfuckers are dying? Like, sure, some of them die from accidents. You can't discount that. That happens. I understand that. But, like, from disease and shit and, like, health, dying at, like, in their 50s, their 60s, doesn't seem right.
Yeah.
And then you got our grandparents who live into their 70s, 80s, 90s, 100s. I just think that's going to really tick down with, like, because obesity's at an all-time high.
Yep.
Cancer's at an all-time high. Heart disease at an all-time high. Alzheimer's is a thing. Alzheimer's wasn't a thing 40 years ago.
Yeah, we talked about that. I think the first case of Alzheimer's was, like, just around the 1900s. But it was, like, the first and only case for a long time. So genetically, right, like, I could totally see genetically, like, obviously Alzheimer's can happen. But I think right now, because a lot of the things that are in the world, it's happening earlier on. And, like, worse than it could have been.
Right. And you know why?
Oh, because of all, like, the shit and... didn't they say it was because of, like... They told us carbohydrates?
Cholesterol.
Good cholesterol, bad cholesterol. Yeah.
So, cholesterol, the big kick in the world is cholesterol is bad for you. Cholesterol builds myelin in your brain. The majority of your brain is myelin, tissue, and... which is built through cholesterol.
The myelin sheath is what protects your neurons. So that's, like, obviously that's how your brain functions. And Alzheimer's is when those neurons start degrading. So the myelin, you need to protect those neurons.
Right. So the more, essentially, if you have a lot of cholesterol, it builds your myelin, which protects your neurons so they can fire for longer, making your brain operate for longer.
Yeah.
So it's the people not eating cholesterol, not eating eggs, not eating real meat, not eating fatty meats.
Butter?
Not having butter, milk, like real milk, not fake milk.
Yeah.
And so it's not having those, like, fatty, things with cholesterol, and like real cholesterol, not the shit fake cholesterol you get when you're eating potato chips and shit like that. Like
the good cholesterol.
Like good cholesterol from real foods like eggs, meat, red meat, fish, shit like that. Those fats and that cholesterol is so good for you and so good for your brain to not get Alzheimer's.
Yeah.
But so anyways, disease and health is at an all-time, like, negative health effects are at an all-time high. So proceed from there, I guess.
So we talked about foods. Foods is one of the big things. So then we're thinking of like, okay, well, obviously what you put in your body is a big deal, but what about what you put on your body? So we've seen studies now that say like polyester is causing cancers, and you have to think like
bras and shit.
Yeah, we're more. They do say like in shirts, like in all clothing, but Shaun and I think more with what like is tight on our bodies and what is like closer to those sensitive parts of your body. So like bras, underwear are like the main two things like Shaun and I that we're more concerned about. Because they do say like right around your armpit is a really big like lymph node. And so if you're wearing like these polyester whatever on tight to your skin all day long, how bad is that? Like how much of that plastic is leaching into your body?
Right.
Same with like we've talked about testosterone being a huge downfall right now. But what if it's all these polyester boxers that men are wearing all the time?
Right.
Because yeah, I mean obviously your testes are right there, so if they are leaching in that plastic.
Right. Plastic leaching. Yeah.
So that's one thing is clothing. And obviously like cotton's been around forever. Linen.
Cotton, linen, wool.
Yep. Cotton, the main thing we've seen that's bad is polyester. I mean,
silk's also been around too.
Oh yeah, silk's been around for a while. That's the main one. I've seen that like spandex is bad for our waters because apparently it breaks whenever you wash it, and then it goes into our water system. But I told you I haven't seen anything about that in the past like 5 years.
Right.
I saw it once, and then that was it.
Right.
So yeah, we're not as concerned with like the things that hang loosely on our clothes or on our bodies. We're not going to go that psychotic, but we have been looking at our tags of other things lately.
Yeah, which the big thing is like none of this shit's been around a long time, and we just take it for face value and go, yeah, that'd be fine. And we don't like.
We're not questioning like we're supposed to.
Yeah, we're not questioning anything we're doing anymore. And then the other part of that is like, it takes how many years to see the effects of things.
Right.
Like they're just starting to say that vaping can cause lung cancer, even though when vaping came out 10 years ago, lung cancer, it was not possible to get lung cancer from vaping. But 10 years later, after vaping for 10 years, it turns out you can.
Yeah, it turns out it was really bad for you.
Yeah. Oh shit. Okay. Yeah. And that's happened with so many things. Look at every fucking bad side effect from like medications, vaccines, all that shit. Give it 10 years and you go, oh fuck, this was actually really bad for us.
Well, that's why it's interesting.
Look at smoking cigarettes used to be good for you.
Yeah. Well, okay, and so here's my caveat to both of those, to part of that. They've smoked cigarettes for a long ass time. It never caused cancer before. Until they started putting random ash chemicals and other shit into it. Alcohol's been around since BC. It's been around so fucking long.
Alcohol and tobacco have both been around forever.
But then they start putting these random shit ingredients in it.
Yep.
To preserve it or do whatever, and now all of a sudden alcohol's really fucking bad for you. Cigarettes are really bad for you. Like, it's because you're putting in this other shit that's not normal for our bodies to intake. Same thing with processed foods. Our bodies aren't used to it.
Right.
So of course they're gonna fucking shut down and do whatever.
Right.
So besides that, so clothing, we've also been thinking about like what we wash our clothes in. So like our laundry detergent. That was one thing I saw a lot. That's a huge hormone blocker. Is laundry detergent. you can honestly just look up natural laundry detergent and you'll find a couple different recipes, I guess. Most of them are like 3 or 4 ingredients, and they're really easy to find. We found most of them at Walmart.
Yep.
I had to get one thing at Farm and Fleet because they were out at Walmart. But it's really easy to make, super cheap, and it works.
Yeah, it does.
It got like blood stains out of clothes. I've even seen people say like it's gotten grease out of like their mechanic outfits. So you just have to use a little bit more.
Sure, that makes sense.
And the kind that we are using, it says it's fine with like the high efficiency
Yes.
washers. So
Yep.
we haven't had any issues yet. So that's one of the things we've switched that I've been very, very excited about. I've seen one for dryer sheets, homestead dryer sheet. I'm kind of interested in trying that because I've always been allergic to them.
Well, yeah, you don't really need them though. What's the point of them? Just make clothes smell good?
I think it makes them less staticky too.
Oh.
Which we got the wool balls, so we don't really need to.
Sure.
But I also don't know, like, do they keep, like, sweatshirts soft and fuzzy on the inside or no?
I don't know the answer.
I don't either. I've never been able to use dryer sheets, so I don't know. I don't know what they do.
I know that, like, sometimes, like, you'll find them in your sweatshirt. That's about it. So
Just
I got
like,
for you.
Just like panties.
It's like panties, you bet.
And then the other, soap. Like your body soap.
Right.
That was, I think we threw that out, or talked about in the last episode. How we were using Dove sensitive skin soap.
Holy shit, dude. That fucked me up so goddamn much.
Yeah, it made Sean's acne worse. It made my, I've been having dry hand issues, and it made those so much worse.
Oh yeah, my hands just all started cracking apart, breaking apart.
And so we went back to our Irish Springs, cheapest soap bar out there, I think.
I'm sure that shit's still not good. I mean,
Yeah.
I'd prefer to do like a homemade soap, like a lard-based soap, something like that, which is way better. But like for right now, dude,
For convenience.
Wow. Yeah, we had to get away from that Dove. It was horrible.
Yeah. But still, like, that's interesting that Irish Springs we don't react as badly with. I'm kind of curious to, like, look at what their ingredients are.
It's pretty extensive.
Pretty
extensive, yeah.
Yeah. But
I had that with deodorant. So I had to quit using normal deodorant and had to start using that, like, fucking $12 shit.
yeah.
Because I'd always get rashes. My armpits would always have rashes. Since I switched that stuff, it's been, like, 2 years.
Yeah.
I have not had one rash.
You tried to go back, and it was instant rash.
Yeah, dude. Boom. It was like within a few days, rash.
That's the next thing I want to try making myself.
Deodorant.
There's one that's like, it's honestly only 2 ingredients, and you just spray it on.
Oh yeah, that's a little weird though.
That it's 2 ingredients?
I feel like you need paste. Am I crazy?
They have like the aerosol deodorants already anyways, so I don't see what the difference would be.
I don't know, dude. I know motherfuckers that use that aerosol shit. They always smell like shit halfway through the day.
I mean, what if you just have to carry a little bottle of deodorant?
Not doing that.
So that's the next one I want to try. Yeah, maybe we have to get it a little
Maybe
stronger.
I'll just smell like shit.
Go for it. They used to.
People used to smell like shit all the time.
Joe Santagato doesn't use deodorant, and he doesn't smell. Do you think it's because he's never used deodorant?
No.
No?
No. I think we produce stink.
Yeah.
I think naturally, think of like Amish and Mennonites.
True.
You naturally, bodies give off an odor.
Yeah.
But like, if we were used to the odor, it wouldn't be an issue. But since we aren't used to that, we smell it. And so like, if everybody smelt, if everyone had BO, no one would have BO.
So here's also the interesting thing for you, Sean, that I haven't told you about deodorant. When I was in high school, there was one girl in my grade who talked about how she refused using antiperspirant deodorants because they were linked to causing cancer. And that was in high school. So that was 12 years ago. No. Well, I think it was my freshman year, actually. So it was even longer, 15 years ago. Fuck, I'm old. So I thought that was it was interesting to like look back on that and be like, oh shit, like it makes sense because once again, there's a lymph node there. So you have to think you're putting these. A lot of people like say parabens are really bad for you. That's what's in a lot of products.
Well, a lot of them have aluminum in them too.
Right, but so all those are like that's going into your body right there. Like your body's soaking that up, and who knows what kind of havoc it's wreaking on your body.
Right.
So yeah, that's one that I'm very interested in trying next. Very, very interesting. And then I'll probably do some kind of natural lotion that's not just coconut oil.
No, let's do like bars of soap first.
Oh, fine.
Yeah, that would make more sense. So, yeah, so pretty much it's like the big thing we're trying to think about is what is not normal. What?
Ooh. Actually, the next thing we're going to do is toothpaste, I lied.
Toothpaste, oh sure. Because it has fluoride in it.
Yes.
Fluoride's also in our water, and they've shown that fluoride is like a fucking clear link to cancer.
Well, I mean, yeah. I don't know why. I don't know. I don't know anything anymore.
You don't know why what?
It's just very interesting because fluoride is like a element.
Sure.
So I like do think it's interesting that like why would that one element cause like cavities to not be a thing? And like right, because if it would have been like huge on oral health, then like they would have been just using straight up fluoride from forever ago.
Right.
But they never have. Like that was a recent discovery. That fluoride was this anti-cavity kind of thing, and it was fine for us to drink it.
But it turns out it's not.
Right. Okay, sorry, continue. I interrupted you.
Oh, just, yeah, like things that are definitely not natural and that could really affect us long term and, like, what makes us feel better. So, like, dude, we obviously can fucking tell when we have whole foods, we feel a lot better. I can tell when I don't have, like, chemicals and shit on me, I feel a lot fucking better. I don't get rashes. My acne's not as bad. So that's all a goddamn win.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, like the shit I'm putting on me, the shit I'm putting in me, I can definitely tell affect me big time. And then the last thing we've been like talking about and looking at is when this is like known. This has been shown through so much. And that's like your cell phone being in your pocket and like so like 4G, 5G, so your data. And Wi-Fi and Bluetooth. Because it gives off, like, electric waves.
Yeah.
And so if we're always, like... So the phone in your pocket by your testes and the electric waves to that, every time you get a text message, every time your phone's, like, communicating with the world. The only time it's not is when it's on airplane mode. If you got your phone in your pocket that's turned on Wi-Fi and Wi-Fi is surging to your phone at all times, or Bluetooth.
Yeah.
You got your phone in your pocket, your watch on your arm, and your earphones in your head. All that signals pulsing into your fucking head and your arm and your leg. And so it's like that shit didn't exist 20 years ago.
No.
It did not exist 20 years ago. And so what is the long-term effect going to be of this? I mean, alone it shows that those radio waves fucking kill your testes from being in your pocket. It kills your testes.
Yeah.
But like, what's the fucking Bluetooth doing to your goddamn head?
On AirPods, there's literally a warning on the box that says like may cause cancer or whatever.
Dude, not surprised.
Right.
All right, and then I remember I saw a thing. I sent it to you. This was a while ago about every time there's a major sickness.
Yes, I was just thinking about this.
It's when they release a new like level of G.
Yeah.
And so like I don't even know how we'd find that. But like the most recent thing, 5G was introduced in 2019. COVID hit in 2020.
Well, technically 2019.
2019.
Yeah.
Go ahead and fill in some space. And
oh, just without that, or
no, yeah, talk about that if you want.
Okay. I mean, it is interesting that like obviously back then, or back in the day, right, they had scurvy was a big issue, but that was just a lack of vitamin C. The Black Plague was a huge thing, but I thought we looked it up, and there was a reason the Black Plague happened. I don't know, but they obviously, now we have antibiotics and stuff like that, but it'd be interesting to see. I told Shaun I watched this high school kid do a study on how effective some natural oils were, and the one was I want to say it was eucalyptus, but I don't think it was. It was something similar to eucalyptus oil. On right now I cannot think of what it was called, but I'm sure you can very easily look it up. This kid did a study on the effectiveness on bacteria of amoxicillin versus this natural oil. And the natural oil did better than the amoxicillin. And he tried it with 3 drops the first time, 1 drop, and then a micropipette, which is like 1/10 of 1 drop. And every time it killed more bacteria than the amoxicillin. And he wanted to test this because his mom was able to cure his Crohn's disease by using this natural oil on him instead of, most people, you can take medication to like calm it, make it more like easy to live with, but he claimed that it actually cured his Crohn's disease. So it's interesting too to think like if we're taking these things and using them as like a natural medicine more than antibiotics for certain things, right? Obviously, like you can't heal everything with natural medicine, but it'd be interesting to see how much longer we can live by using more natural stuff than modern day medicine for most of the time. Did you find it or no?
Mm-mm.
Can't find it again?
No, I can't find it.
Dang. Well, look up what year 4G came out, and then we could probably think about what, because I think the last big one, what was it was happening during the Olympics, and it was in mosquitoes. What was it? Because it like gave babies like tiny heads, apparently, is what it claimed.
Let me pull up this.
Do you remember what that was called? It wasn't N1H1. I thought it was something else. And they said it was going to be this big pandemic, and then like it was fine after that Olympics.
MRSA? MERS, no. MERS, MERS. SARS-CoV.
I told you, I think you were looking up when 4G came out.
I know. Timeline from 1G to 5G.
Okay. So
1G launched in 1979.
Okay, well, I don't know. That was a long time ago.
By 1984, the first generational network covered all of Japan. It wasn't until March 6, 1983, America introduced 1G to the United States. Although cell phone prototype was made in 1973. Okay, so 1983-ish is when the first one started.
Why don't you actually talk in your microphone?
Sorry.
Thank you.
1983 was when the first one happened. So it says that SARS-CoV,
yeah.
SARS was 2002 to 2003.
Okay. Was that like 3G? No, 2G?
Let me see. 02. I'll see if it lines up with anything. 2G was introduced. 3G was introduced in 01.
Oh, really?
3G introduced in 01 and 02.
Mm-hmm.
And so 4G was 09.
And that was
So 2009 through 2010 is swine flu.
Yes.
And then MERS is 2015 to ongoing. I don't know if because I remember there's like LTE came out, but I don't know when that is.
Oh, 4G.
4G LTE.
Please tell me it's like 2015.
No, I can't find it anywhere.
No, lame. But still, that's kind of cool.
And then 5G came out in 2019. And in 2019,
COVID happened.
We had COVID.
Yeah. So the theory was like every time we release one of these cell networks, it's like a new round of waves that goes across the world.
Well, it is true that does line up exactly with 3G, 4G, and 5G.
Yeah.
It does line up exactly.
100%. So yeah, these rounds of waves is what's causing these big spreads of the viruses. Not like, because the waves are like affecting our immune system is like kind of what I would take from that, which is probably why like we're getting sick a lot easier all the time because we have all these radio waves around us at all times. I recently started plugging my headphones in instead of Bluetoothing them at times, just because I mean that is one less radio wave that I have. And then I'm also like I've been very conscious of where my phone is, right? Like I was carrying it in my hand and I put it in my pocket and I was like, nope, I can keep carrying this in my hand.
Right. Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, that's absolutely true. I just, a lot of that, dude, I just think we take for granted and we don't think about. Mm-hmm. And I think it's going to end up being essentially the demise
of mankind.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, even in like bigger cities, people said like 5G being in bigger cities, like they could tell, like people could tell that like 5G was in existence, whether that's true or not. They said like they could feel like more like, I don't know, like radio waves or something.
Interesting.
You could tell. I don't know. I doubt it. But
it is. Go ahead.
No, you're good.
I was just going to say, it's smart to think of, like, if you are health conscious, right, and you are very conscious of what you're putting in your body, you should think about what is happening outside of your body and around you, because, I mean, food can only take you so far.
Right. Yeah. Well, and if being in something, like if being in an area that's polluted can affect your health, how would being in an area that has radio waves all the time, radio waves all day long, not affect you?
Right.
Doesn't make sense. Like, of course it would affect you. It would make sense.
Mm-hmm.
If being in somewhere that's polluted and the air affects you, how would being hit with radio waves all day long not affect you?
Right. I think we talked about it on this podcast like 100 episodes ago. There's like a city in Alabama, I thought it was, that they like discovered like the sewage was leaking into the like ground or something. Oh no. Like everyone, I think it was partly that, and also like people were walking around barefoot all the time. And like the IQ of this town was like way lower than any other town, and they found out because all these people and kids were walking around barefoot. There was like, I don't remember if it was hookworms or some type of worm that was entering into their body from their feet and causing their brains to be literally slower and dumber. Mm-hmm. So yeah, there's just this whole town of that. I thought that was very interesting.
Yeah. Yeah, it was like Alabama or something. There was like some counties, and this happened like
it was recently. It was like in the 2000s.
Yeah, but what they figured out in the 2000s was that it had been going on for like many years had been going on, so it affected like 2 generations of people, and they were like, they had an even more southern drawl, you know, like their IQ was clearly lower, they talked slower, and because hookworms were getting in their feet from sewage leakage. Yeah, fucking interesting, dude. That, and like people wouldn't think anything of it because it happened over so many years before they noticed. So maybe it was going on 10, 20 years before they're like, oh, hey, we all are fucked up, and we fucked up 2 generations and maybe more because these people are going to reproduce.
Right.
You know, pretty wild.
That is insane. I wonder, like, Because remember there was the sewage leak in the Chipper River for a little while?
Yeah.
I wonder if, like, that affected people.
Damn, could be possible.
Right? Because, like, they had to not allow people to float for a while until, like, they fixed that.
I remember that.
Yeah, because it was
shit.
right upstream from where people started floating.
Yeah, it was. Wow. Damn, dude, I bet you.
It really makes you think, like, even just what we do physically.
What do you mean?
Like, right, like, just thinking we're going out and having fun and going floating, but, like, what if you got, like, some crazy illness because you drank the poo river water?
Yeah, it's kind of always been going on, though.
That's true. Whatever happened to that, wasn't there some other monkeypox pandemic going on?
Yeah, I believe there was.
Yeah, what happened to that?
I don't know. I didn't see it on the thing.
Cool.
Sweet. Anything else?
I think that's about all I got. I mean, I highly suggest looking into it if you're, like, a health conscious person. Like I said, it is actually quite a bit cheaper to get these natural products versus buying store-bought brands of stuff.
Right.
So if you are, I mean, tight for money, it might be a good alternative for you.
Yeah.
And I think some of the ingredients... Oh, one of the things we didn't talk about, disinfectant sprays. That's the one hard one that it is to make. Because you have to let, like, orange and lemon peels sit in vinegar for 6 months.
That's one type, though. I'm sure you can make other shit.
Yeah, that's true. So we're in the process of making that right now, too. But, yeah. The ingredients for a lot of these are the same throughout, too.
Oh, yeah.
Because there was something else that uses... Oh, like our toothpaste, I think, will be, like, coconut oil...
Baking soda.
And baking soda, which are... laundry detergent has baking soda in it, so we already have a big container of it.
A lot of shit's vinegar, baking soda, coconut oil.
Mm-hmm.
There's a lot of that.
Yeah. The washing soda, washing something.
Yeah.
That is another thing. I think the deodorant was 2 different ingredients, though. Mm-hmm. And I'm sure soap will be different ingredients, too.
Yeah.
So, yeah. Well, I mean, we'll update you guys maybe in, like, 6 months and see how things are going.
Maybe we'll be fucking dead, dude.
Right? Like, we fucked our bodies will go in shock from not having all these poisons in it.
Just can't handle it.
Yeah.
Into it. Dude, that's a thing with eating, though.
Mm-hmm.
The fucking cleaner I eat, the longer I eat clean. If I step out of bounds to eat something, not like a slice of pizza from Covisa or whatever, but if I step out of bounds and I eat some, like, unhealthy shit.
Like McDonald's grade shit?
Like McDonald's grade shit, I'd say, like, fucking Lay's potato chips.
Oh, yeah.
Dude, I get so fucked up from eating, like, a little bag of Lay's potato chips. Like, how the fuck that do that to me?
Yeah, any of our friends listening, we got 4 brand new bags of potato chips in our basement.
Can't eat them.
Please come get them.
We tried eating one. And
we tried eating 2. Because we tried the barbecue Lays and then we tried the Funyuns.
Oh, yeah, they both just fuck us up.
Yep.
Crazy.
So I think we have 4 brand new bags if anybody wants them.
Cool. All right.
That's what I got.
Dope. Check us out on the YouTubes. Instagram. Review the show. Rate the show. Thank you. Tell a friend.
Yeah. I'll work on Apple Podcasts this week.
Good.
Ugh.
Cool. All right, guys. Thanks for tuning in. We'll catch you on the next one.
See ya.